If you are familiar with this channel, you would know about Chris Wilson. Chris Wilson is a popular reaction YouTube channel with a big fan base. There comes fan-created content. There is one piece of content, though, that is elusive to the public to this day, until now. The YHG Iceberg is a multi-video project with 3 known entries. Iceberg 1, created by Christine's Mental Health, and Iceberg 3, created by God of Tweezers. But if we dig a little deeper, we would realize that Iceberg 2 is nowhere to be seen. Now, with memories surrounding in the community, we know that at some point, YHG Iceberg 2 did exist, but for some unknown reason, it has become lost media. And it stayed that way for about 3 or 4 years. Until now. I was scrolling through my old files from my old phone when I found the elusive Iceberg 2.5. And with this, we can now solve a 4-year-long running mystery. But I do warn you, this video was deleted for a reason. So, all I could say is viewer discretion is advised.
When someone says YouTube, what is the first people you think of? Some people say PewDiePie.
What a fucking...
Some say Ninja.
Suck a dick, dude. Literally, the fattest one you can find. I want you to just literally just shove the whole thing in your mouth.
And many, many more. But one of those YouTubers that I can think of is, well, the YouTuber that this Iceberg video is based off of. And that YouTuber is Chris Wilson. Now, Chris Wilson, or better known as Your Highness Gaming, is a small YouTuber who does reactions. And so I thought, why not make an iceberg chart of him? And I did, but I did not make a video on it. Someone else did. I'm not gonna explain who, but yeah, you should know. And for all that out of the way, here's the YHG Iceberg 2.5. Now, why 2.5? You'll find out later. The YHG lore. Yeah, that's true. The YouTuber Chris Wilson, or better known as Your Highness Gaming, actually has lore. Wow. Chris's forms. So there's actually some pictures of Chris in different forms. For example, here's a picture of him as Harry Potter. And here's him as whatever that is. Here's him as Walter White. Chris as a middle schooler. And finally, Chris as a baby. Memes. Whenever Chris streams, he used to look at memes in the Discord server, and the running joke is that like whenever he looks at memes expecting there to be good, they're just bad. Blame it on George. Blame It On George is a YouTuber who does countdown videos, but he's mostly well known for making lost media videos. Now, the reason why he's on this iceberg is because, like Alex Bell, Chris reacts to him. Now, the reason why I'm pronouncing it as Blame It On George and not Blame It On Jorge, because, well, Chris pronounces it as Blame It On Jorge, but it turns out people actually pronounce it as Blame It On George. Like, take a look at his trivia part in the YouTube wiki of him. Most of his fan base and newcomers usually mispronounce his username as George instead of Jorge, which is how it usually pronounced. However, to add to the confusion, George himself often pronounces it in both ways, although he favors Jorge. Chris's mom. So Chris's mom is a character in the YHG lore. Now, the reason YHG is in the lore is because it turns out that MatPat banged her, which is, something, I tell you. Alright, so now we've done the first layer, and now let's move on to the second one. Whoopi. Whoopi is a chat member in the streams and is well known for pushing Pancake into a lava in response for everyone calling this community a cult. Which it is, okay, Chris. You know it's a cult, you just don't want to say it. Chicken Knight 24. So Chicken Knight 24, or better known as Sir Chicken Knight 24, is a chat member and is also a moderator in the streams. There's not really much to say about him. Well, unless there is, I'm just not thinking about it, or I just don't know. But he is an Easter egg, though, a reoccurring one. The Flesh Pit. The Flesh Pit is a a pit that they use for anyone who doesn't agree with them by the rules. Pancake. Pancake is a member of the chat and is well known for trolling both Chris and the chat. And like I said before, Whoopi sacrificed Pancake into throwing Pancake into the volcano. Now, there's going to be a lot of lore-related stuff here on the iceberg, and I'm not going to talk about it a lot because there's already a video explaining the timeline / lore of it. So if you want to know everything about it, just watch it. Chris needs mental help. So Chris needs mental help is basically Jonathan the Rat's second name. Yeah, it's Jonathan the Rat, Johnny the Rat, and Chris needs mental help. Which is weird because why does Chris needs mental help? Art. Art is a channel in the YHG Discord server where people could put in art of either Chris, YHG related, or just art in general. Now, the most notable one who uses it is 2times, and well, just look at the art I'm posting here right now. And I also put in a little bit of art myself, you know, cause why not? Chris's statue. Chris has said before many times that, and I quote, which will be erecting a temple statue will be right outside of the church headquarters because the stream is so legendary. But we never actually get to see the statue. Now, believe it or not, there actually is some pictures leaked about Chris's statue. And I know what you're thinking. Well, let's see the statue. Alright, well here it is. Drumroll, please. Here it is, Chris's statue that Twitch will be erecting. Yeah, I don't think it's really 10 feet. Alright, now let's move on to the third layer. Now, this is the part where things get juicy. Chris used car salesman. I'm not going to go into this one too much because there's a whole video about this. So if you want to know like the entire thing with like a little bit extra details, go and watch that. So Chris has said before many times that he does not like used car salesmen. Now, the theory is that the reason why he doesn't like it is because he used to be one himself. With the evidence being that how Chris can be a bit of a jumpy and can get a little too excited. Not like that, but you know what I mean. And the only other people who can get a little too excited and very jumpy are used car salesmen. And that how Chris being a used car salesman is a really dark secret or past to him. Which I'm guessing is even more secret and dark to him being a stripper. Okay, that was mid, don't you think? You know, when Gago does it, it's better. Chris is cloned. So according to Chris himself, he said that there will be many clones of him because he's just that good looking. But Chris also says that all of the clips of him that appear on the internet is just deep fake and voice trolling and is also therefore clones of him. Chris's moments. So Chris can be seen having his moments. Now, what do I mean by moments? Well, just look at these clips right here.
I'm gonna fuck Pokimane until she needs a new bionic pussy. Give me the cash and put that centipede in my ass, bro. Listen. Oh my god, he really is sus. Nigga, I'm white. I'm racist.
Chris, I'm starting to think you're mentally and physically slow. And finally, we have my personal favorite.
I'm sucking the skin off that fucking dick, dude. Oh my gosh.
You know what, Chris? I'm gonna make you feel better by posting pictures of everyone else in here who has their moments. So, yeah, let's get into it. Listen to my boy. So Kristen is a member of the chat and is also a troll and is also a SoundCloud rapper. So that explains a lot. And he's also known for begging and annoying Chris by making him listen to one of his songs, My Boy. And by the way, Chris, when you're done watching this video, can you listen to my boy, please? Thank you.
Christian, I'm about to ban you. Oh my fucking god, I'm about to banish you to the fucking Shadow Realm. Chris, listen to my boy. Listen to my boy. Can you listen to my boy? Why are you watching this? Listen to my boy. Listen to my fucking boy.
King Clyde. So Clyde is a member of the chat and is well known for gifting Chris subs, like out of nowhere, and then he vanished.
Clyde with the gift to Williams Clyde! Fucking Clyde!
Chris being spotted at places. So it's been reported that Chris has been spotted at numerous places, which is pretty odd for him. So why not go over them? Here's Chris being spotted at the back of a Walmart, and here is Chris at a bar. And finally, we have Chris being spotted at an LGBTQ parade. And that was layer 3. Now let's move on to layer 4. Whoopcake. So Whoopcake is a sip name between Whoopi and Pancake, and you know the story. Whoopi sacrificed Pancake into throwing her into the lava and yada yada, you know. Love Sosa Mandela effect. So we all know Love Sosa, and if you do not know what Love Sosa is, you're uncultured, okay? But anyways, yeah, so Love Sosa is a song that Chris plays in his intros. But do you remember it as this?
These bitches love Sosa, oh, and I know it. Fucking with them old ones, you gon' get fucked over. Rarries and Rovers, these hoes are cheap Sosa. Hit on with that Cobra, now that was slumped over.
Now, if you ask me who won back there, Chris. Gerald literally just, you bro, like you cannot say you won, Chris. Gerald literally just took a fat steaming dump on you. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, like I said, do you remember it as that, or do you remember it as this?
I suck dick, I'm gay, nigga. Eat your booty, I'ma give you brain, nigga. See that booty twirl, then it drop, nigga. Don't test me, I'ma give you top, nigga. Pull up on you, slop up on your cock, nigga.
The origin of Gay Tony Gang. So for those who don't know, there's two wars fighting, Piss Poland and Grand Junction, but they eventually made up and formed their own gang, the Gay Tony Gang. But why Gay Tony? Why not Gay Jeff or Gay Oswald? Or better yet, Gay Chris? Now, the reason why it's Gay Tony because Chris randomly said it and people thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So yeah. Now, there is no evidence of that. I know he said it somewhere. I don't know where. But my best guess is that he said that in the first YHG Iceberg video. But, so, this is more of like a trust me bro situation. Expert. Okay, I got stuck on this one, so I ended up asking someone if they know about it. So, basically, Expert was the first weird / crazy / horny chatter for Chris. And that was basically the only thing he ever done. He even donated in his chat just to be horny. Now, there are some rumors in the chat that someone made a Rule 34 of Chris, but I don't really believe that because no one has the balls to make a Rule 34 of Chris. Chris got out at a Walmart. This is going to include some very, very heavily topics, so if you're really, really sensitive to it, I'll give you like a little like time to like skip. Alright, let's go. Wednesday, somewhere in July 2022. A local Walmart in the town of Denver, in the city of Colorado, there's been a mass shooting involving 20 victims being shot and killed. One of them being Chris Wilson. I'll give you a little breakdown on what happened there. So Chris was shopping in a Walmart buying, well, whatever the hell he buys there. Then he heard an ominous voice coming from the employees only room. Being confused, Chris eventually investigated and checked out the ominous voice coming from the employees only room. And when Chris investigated the strange noise, no one was there. Well, only a few Walmart employees was there, but like they couldn't see him or they didn't notice him. But when Chris was ready to leave, however, he got tapped on the shoulder. When he turned around, he got knocked out, presumably killing him. Now, we never really found out what or who killed Chris because the Walmart back there didn't really work. So when Chris got knocked out, dead, the person who killed him dragged him to the Walmart parking lot and just left him there. That's it. And now when people started finding out like what's over there, like what's that like dead corpse, it was Chris. And then that's how people found out that he was dead. His funeral was held by the first and second generation of the YHG community. Pajaro had a frowning face the whole time. Rumby cried the whole time. Signal didn't even knew there was a funeral or that Chris even died. Now, Johnny the Rat and Charles Entertainment Cheese found out about the news, but instead of going to Chris's funeral, they just went to Chuck E. Cheese and just partied the whole night. Now, you may be wondering, if Chris is dead, then who is the Chris we see in the videos or the streams? Now, there's a theory that Chris is dead, but they made a clone of Chris just so he can continue making reaction videos and streaming on Twitch. But that is a story for a whole different day, alright? We don't have time for that. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing the next layer. Someone else is going to be doing the next layer. And so they're going to take over for like a short while. And that person who's going to take over is Rumby. Yeah, that's Rumby. Yeah, so Rumby, take it away while I'll go leave and might do something. I don't know.
Oh, Chris. Poor, naive Chris. You wouldn't think I would expose your secrets like this? It is I, Rumby. I have been hired to explain some of the more obscure happenings in this iceberg. Let us begin. Rip Black Ferb. Black Ferb sadly passed away on August 4th, 2022. The cause of death is still unknown, though the YHG crime team narrowed down the suspects to Chris Wilson, Bella, and Charles Entertainment Cheese. If you have any information, please step forward so the community may heal. You're getting banned. You're getting banned is one of Chris Wilson's many popular catchphrases. In context, it is used as a threat against any of the YHG members when they say things in chat he doesn't like or to members he hates, like Alpha. However, this threat is mere words, as Chris has never banned anyone yet. The Chris Gago Markiplier love triangle. This love triangle sprung about as the viewers over on Twitch saw a beautiful budding relationship between Chris and fellow streamer Gago. However, Chris has commented that he was already in a relationship with famous YouTuber Markiplier, providing evidence through a video where the couple go on a date. At the same time, photos of Chris and Gago together were leaked, presenting Chris as a two-timing no-good, cheating bitch and a liar. Black Chris McLean. Black Chris McLean is one of the many Chris Wilson variants the chat has discovered. Joining the ranks of Black Ferb and Dora Wilson, he's becoming more popular. Though Chris denies any variants and their existence, the crowd wonders if this variant will make an appearance once again. Little Sally. Little Sally is a known character in the YHG lore as a gag character that Chris often beats up. According to Tweezers, head of the YHG Injury Task Force, Sally's injuries include punches to the face, being forced to listen to chip-chewing ASMR, many scraped knees, and most infamously, a broken back. Her family is currently suing Chris Wilson for damages, but he has not yet appeared in court.
And we're back. Alright, so thanks to Rumby for doing that layer. And if I sound like I'm recording this in a bathroom, then it's true. I am recording it in the bathroom. Do not judge me, okay? Again, thanks to Rumby for doing that layer. And let's move on to the next layer. Oh my god. Chris is a predator. So there are a lot of allegations Chris has been in, and this is one of them. A lot of people claim that Chris has been having some EDP 445 activities, which is weird. Now, there is no evidence of Chris becoming EDP445, but there is evidence of Chris with EDP445. Like, take a look at this. So right here is a picture of Chris and EDP445 selling cupcakes for 25 cents. Which is a scam because I bought one and it's not cupcake. The cupcake's literally expired and they didn't cook it right. So yeah, no legs. So this is basically like a meme in the YHG community where Chris is seen to not have any legs. Which I could see that because like Chris is always in his chair. Like we never see him like out of the house. Even though there are pictures of Chris spotted at public places. But he's in his chair most of the time. And like he has a blanket on him that covers his legs. Now, there's a theory that Chris actually has robot legs, which explains why he's able to twerk while standing on his chair. So, I mean, robots are gonna invade the future in like 10 years. So, I guess this is sort of like a sign or like a warning that robots are coming near us. Chris doesn't have a childhood. This is obvious. We can all agree that Chris doesn't really have a good childhood. Everyone started to think of this when Chris didn't get the magic number song, or that he said he'd never seen Schoolhouse Rock. Now, Chris, I've never seen Schoolhouse Rock also, but the reason why is because that show came out before my time. That show was on during your time, Chris, so meaning you were able to watch it, but no, you didn't, because you were too busy watching SpongeBob all day long. Black Ferb is actually still alive. I mean, if you think about it, it could be true. Because it was just said that he just died. Black Ferb died. Like, his body wasn't found. He wasn't found dead. It was just said that Black Ferb died. He just had a funeral. Now, a lot of people believe that Black Ferb is actually still alive. Myself included, because, well, he made a tweet, like, a few months after he died. So, like, how was he able to tweet if he's dead? Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, what if someone just, like, hacked his account, or that, like, one of his friends, like, got his passcode and just tweeted that, just for fun? Well, no, because this is fully true, because Chris had made a tweet talking about how Black Ferb is still alive. And that's it for the YHG Iceberg 2.5. If you enjoy it, please leave a like, and, alright, let me tell you something. Look how much time there's left in the video. Yeah. If you're wondering why we have so much time left in the video, it's because... Right, I'll give you a second. Alright, are you done? Alright, now, the reason why there's so much time left in the video is because, yeah, we have another iceberg chart. That's why it's called YHG Iceberg 2.5, because the 0.5 is the second iceberg chart, because it's not necessarily an entire part 2. It's like a 2.5. You get it? Alright, now, I'm not going to be doing the next layer. I know, I literally just did like one layer. I need a break, alright? So now, I'm going to be passing it to someone else that isn't Rumby. I'm pretty sure you can tell who it is. And no, it's not Johnny the Rat. It's someone else.
Hey Chris, it's me Pajaro. Didn't think you'd expect me here, huh Chris? Don't make that face. I know you miss me, Chris. Anyways, let's get on to tier 7, shall we? The final dance battle. This is just a dance battle that you and Johnny had after he made the second exposed video. You know, we were all there. It was very, very epic. Commentary videos. So we all know Chris for making those goofy, wacky, funny reaction videos, right? Well, if you're a true Chris Wilson fan, you would know he has made some commentary videos as well. One of these commentary videos is the Mr. Meaty commentary video. That one was something special. Chris has said that he will be making more of those. So I guess look out for those in the future. That clip was from yesterday.
That was literally yesterday! That was literally just yesterday!
I like how I explained to him why I use recent clips, but he still sometimes says this. Getting Over It. 2017's Getting Over It is an indie platformer that hit the world by storms for how hard it is. Me personally, I don't see how people can struggle on this game. Like, I literally beat this game in 17 minutes. What are you talking about? Anyways, this is one of the rare games that Chris has actually played. Yeah, Your Highness Gaming does gaming content? Wow. Shocker. But he only streams it on Twitch, so I guess follow the Twitch. But apparently, Chris struggled with this game really hard. He got so mad over it. He didn't stream for 2 days after it. I guess that's a skill issue. The real reason why Chris can't rap. Chris has said that the reason he can't rap anymore is because if he releases any type of music, there wouldn't really be a point for anyone else to drop music. He says everyone else's music wouldn't be as good as his, but that's not true. The real reason Chris doesn't rap anymore is because of what SpongeBob said. Let me explain. SpongeBob has sent us a video exposing the real reason Chris can't rap. Let's take a look.
I have been meaning to say this. Recently, Chris has been saying that he can rap but chooses not to. That is a lie. The real reason he can't rap is because he has no bars at all. Unless he gives us another rap, this is the truth.
And that was tier 7. Thank you, tweezers, for letting me do this part of the iceberg. It was really fun to make. But it seems that there's a few more tiers of the iceberg left. So, see you at the bottom.
Bao-G. Bao-G is a character in Phineas and Ferb, and he's the character you're seeing on screen right now. The reason why he's on here is because just like Black Ferb and Black Chris McLean, people say that Bao-G looks like Chris. Now, I would say this is true, but Bao-G is headcanon as Indian, and Chris, well, he's not so much. In fact, Chris doesn't even like Indians. When he was asked that if he likes Indians, Chris literally just said, no comment. That's it. Like, Chris, how do you not like Indians? Like, they make the most bangerous songs ever made. Like, take this one for example. Abandoned channels. This could be in 2 ways. One is that there are channels that are YHG related that are quickly abandoned, or there are Discord servers that are abandoned, aka deleted, because no one uses them. The most notable ones being YHG Theories, which is supposed to be a theory based on YHG, but it quickly died. Like, no one, like, who even run this account? No one literally run it. And another one being YHG Chatters, previously named YHG Gamers. The whole point of that was originally just a group of people that are from YHG to play video games. Now, that sounds simple, but just like YHG Theories, that channel died. Like, it never even made a video, because YHG Theories has made a few videos. This one hasn't. The only video that's on there is just like a teaser trailer thingy or whatever. Now, you may be wondering, how did it went from YHG Gaming to YHG Chatters? Now, the reason for that is because the quote-unquote leader of the YHG Gamers wanted to become a reaction channel. What? Like, I get that you want to be Chris so bad, but like, why a reaction channel? Like, out of all things, why reaction? But hey, that's just a theory. A YHG theory. Okay, let's move on to the next entry. YHG quiz. So someone, aka yours truly, has made a few quizzes based around Chris, and, well, they're as accurate as possible. Now, if you want to do all the quizzes yourself, because there are 4 YHG quizzes, all of them are in the description below. And who knows, maybe I'll make a YHG quiz part 5. Wink, wink. Downloaded videos. So there's an era of time where whenever Chris wanted to react to a video, he'll just download the video. Now, to this day, Chris has never answered on why he downloaded the videos, but my guess, and what's probably the right answer, is that the reason why Chris downloads his videos is because he want to get interrupted ads, or the video won't buffer. Now, I would say this is smart, but on YouTube, if you want to download videos, you're going to have to spend money on that. So, I don't know, Chris. Either the fact that you're wasting money, or you're using a website that lets you, like, illegally download videos, which I don't blame you, Chris. I've done that before. So I guess that's really pointless, because Chris has said that he has an ad blocker, and that's why he won't get, like, interrupted ads, which, hey, good on you, Chris. The bot/raid invasion. Again, this could also mean 2 ways. One is that there's, like, a bot invasion in the YHG lore, or we have, like, the raid invasion on the Twitch. But today, we're going to talk about the raid invasion, because I don't want to go into MatPat lore mode, so yeah. So basically, Chris was streaming regularly, and then out of the blue, he got raided. Now, to this day, the person who raided Chris is unknown. So people jump to conclusion thinking that the people who are raiders from the person's stream are just bots, and that Chris got raided by bots. I mean, Chris is definitely the type of guy who thinks he got raided, but in reality, they're all just bots. Now, they couldn't be bots if they forced Chris to like shake ass. So, hey, good on you, Chris, for shaking ass for the first time in like 10 years. The voices. So Chris has said that he has voices in his head, and whenever he streams or he records, they just break out. Now, I don't know what to say about this or cure it. If you listen to the song "The Monster" by Eminem and Rihanna, that'll probably help you. Alpha exposed. So we all know Alpha, alright? He's one of those losers who are mod. But during the time he was here, he's been exposed a lot. So let's go over the times that he was exposed.
Snap back to reality.
Now, Alpha's known for the chat not only being mod, but someone that Chris usually takes his anger out of. Not in an abusive way, but like he always like blames Alpha for pretty much everything. Even if Alpha's not even here, Chris blames him for stuff. And like I said before, whenever Chris does memes, most of the time the memes are caca poo poo. And Alpha thought it would be a great idea for everyone to send Ohio memes because it's so funny, get it? Because Ohio's the worst place ever be at. And when Chris saw the memes, he obviously hated it and told the chat on who was responsible for that. And pretty much everyone said Alpha, and that's how Alpha got exposed for the first time.
Give me a number 5 with the side of fries.
So there was a vote on whether or not if should Chris watch the Mandela catalog or play around the clock. Now, this vote was going on 3 times, and out of all those 3 times, people say it was rigged. And then people found out that Alpha was the one who actually rigged the votes. Hell, it even says it right there that Alpha spent channel points because in order to vote on Twitch, you either have to put in your channel points or you can just vote regularly. But this time, you have to put in channel points. And like I said, it says it right there that Alpha spent 1,000 channel points. And then obviously Alpha denied it, and then pretty much everyone came to the conclusion that Alpha rigged the votes, and Alpha had a stroke. Sounds like he's having a stroke right now.
A little Chinese lesson for you. Manchi means enjoy your meal.
So you know how like 2 entries ago, Chris got raided on stream by bots? Well, something like that happened not too long ago, and then Alpha was nowhere to be seen, even though he was like our shield guard. But then, yeah, like I said, Alpha was nowhere to be seen. And then like 5 minutes after like it was all gone, Alpha came back saying, "I'm back, what happened?" It's kind of sus that you magically disappeared while Chris got raided. And like I said, Chris jumped to the conclusion that Alpha was the one behind the raid. Also, another thing is that ever since Chris started playing The Sims 4 on stream, again, twitch.tv/YourHighnessGaming, Alpha's been talking about him and Pajaro, like, hey, Chris, make me and Pajaro be bunk buddies, make me and Pajaro do that, make me and Pajaro do this, make me and Pajaro do that. Like I said, that's kind of sus that you're always talking about Pajaro a lot. And then Alpha eventually, like, left the Discord and moved to a different planet. I'm guessing he did that out of, like, embarrassment because he got exposed for rigging the votes. I don't know. Charles' comeback. So we all know that Charles and Timid Cheese is mortal enemies with Chris Wilson. Now, as you may have known, Chris and Charles and Timid Cheese has been doing a lot of dance battles. But recently, Johnny has been having a little comeback recently. Like, look at the dance moves he's done. And then there's Chris. Okay, I don't know who to root for because Charles Entertainment Cheese scammed me like 4 years ago, and Chris is Chris, so I don't know. You decide. And that was layer 8. Let's move on to layer 9. I'm gonna collapse at any point. Jason. So, Jason, better known as Unrepresentative95, is some loser dweeb whose only friend is just an object. How to be mod. So in the chat there are channel points, and the highest one for 100,000 channel points is mod, where you be mod in the chat. Now, recently Chris has removed the channel point reward because he claims that how chat is mod, which is not true because Chris usually gets like 13 to 15 viewers per stream, and during those streams there are only like 4 mods in the chat. So that's not necessarily says half of the chat. Now you may be thinking, okay, well he's just saying that like, oh, like half of the chat, meaning it all together. Now that would be a good point, but again, 13 to 15 viewers per stream. Now 7 is half of 14, but he never really gets 14 viewers per stream. It's only 13 and 15. So yeah, 7 is not half of 13, and 7 is also not half of 15. But I found a way on how you can be a successful moderator in the YHG chat. So first off, you gotta go to a Burger King. Now, I know what you're thinking, how does going to a Burger King qualify you as being a mod? No, that's gonna be saved for later. So, you gotta go to a Burger King, go into a bathroom. Now, chances are Chris is usually spotted in Burger King bathrooms, but they don't got cameras in the Burger King bathrooms because that would be weird. So, you gotta go into the Burger King bathroom. It usually depends. Some days he's filling the boys' bathroom, and some days he's filling the girls' bathroom. Now, he's usually either in the middle stall or the right stall. And either way, if he's in those stalls, all you gotta do is, you either gotta pleasure him with a hand, or his favorite part, which is mostly like the part he does if you want to get mod, you have to do a bit of sucking. Now, Chris rewards you for mod if you do not tell the police, which is basically what pretty much everyone takes. Now, I know what you're thinking, alright, well, there's no evidence, alright? There's no cameras in the bathroom at Burger King, because like I said, that's kind of weird. But Chris himself says that he and another person go into the bathroom at Burger King and suck each other's you know what. That is heavily supported in his Burger King rap. Now, the person we were using for example on how you get mod, let's just say it's Alpha, right? So Alpha went to the bathroom and pleasured Chris, and then he got mod. Repeat that for like 6 other dweebs, and then bam, you get a full team of mod in the YHG chat. The secret collaboration. So there's a rumor that there's gonna be like a secret collaboration that Alex Bell and Blame It On George is gonna do, and that theory that Alex Bell and Blame It On George is gonna do is on, well, you guess it, the YHG called. And it looks like we're gonna get to see that collaboration in like the year 2025. Hooray. Frederick. So Frederick, aka FNAF, is another game that Chris played with Getting Over It on the twitch.tv/RahannesGaming. Now, obviously, FNAF is a horror game. If you somehow do not know, you play as a night guard, surviving 5 nights at a Chuck E. Cheese wannabe, but better, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Now, somehow, Chris had so much trouble doing in night 2 of FNAF that he even rage quit. Like, how are we gonna have trouble on night 2? That's like the easiest night in FNAF. Well, there's night 1, but like night 1 is like a tutorial mode. Night 2 is literally like the easiest one. Like what Pajaro said, that's something you call a skill issue. Kansas/Nebraska slander. Chris said that the worst states to ever live in is Kansas and Nebraska. He also says that Texas, Florida, and other states, I don't know, are also the worst states to ever live in. It's weird how Chris says that these states are the worst states to live in, but those states just so happens to be the states that his mods live in. For example, Rumby lives in Nebraska. Chris says that Nebraska is the worst place to live in, and Chris says that Texas sucks. Pajaro lives in Texas. Okay, Chris, I don't blame you for saying Texas sucks. Like, people who live in Texas are guaranteed racist, and they're also regnets, and they also most likely to like have a shotgun on them whenever they go outside. Now, if you're mad because Chris said that the state you live in sucks, just to let you know, Chris lives in Colorado. Who lives in Colorado? No one lives in Colorado. That's just snow. Colorado is only relevant because of Denver and South Park, and that's basically the only reason why Colorado is even a thing. What about South Park? Colorado is just obscurity. Irrelevant. The only good thing about Colorado is that one vine where the guy was sledding and he said, "I'm a giraffe." In conclusion, Illinois sweeps all 50 states. Terrible Wi-Fi. Ever since Chris moved to a new house, he's been lagging a lot in his streams. And whenever someone brings up the lag, Chris gets mad and says that it's their fault and it's their Wi-Fi. Now, we can all agree that it's Chris's Wi-Fi. He lives off his mom's hotspot. Now, Pajaro says that it's Chris's fault and his Wi-Fi, provided with video evidence of it. YHG ad. So there's an ad of Chris saying that you should follow Chris Wilson and subscribe to him on Twitch and YouTube. Now, this was a pretty good ad, but it's quickly changed to Pajaro, Alpha, Serpentine, and Rumby arguing about whether or not what is the best ice cream flavor. With Pajaro saying it's Rocky Road, Alpha saying it's cheesecake, Serpentine saying that it's Neapolitan ice cream, and Rumby says it's mint. Now, I can say that every single one of those are wrong. Vanilla, rainbow sherbet, and cookies and cream, also known as Oreos, are the best ice cream favorite. Disagree equals bias. You know, I could make a whole tier list video on what is the best ice cream flavor, but no, that would be for a different day. And that is layer 9. Let's move on to the last layer, layer 10. Editor insert numbers. So there was a short era whenever Chris uploaded. At first the title was editor, and it just like insert like a bunch of like random 3-digit number. Now to this day, Chris has not answered on who the editor is or why it was like that. But according to Johnny the Rat, he says that he knows the editor, but of course Johnny the Rat, being Johnny the Rat, he never told. So I guess we got another unsolved mystery. Signal's behavior. So recently, Signal has been not really being himself. Like at first he was normal, but now he's like a bit hostile. Well, not really, but like he's not acting like himself basically. But one of the things happening is that like during the trip to get Pajaro's laptop back in the YHG out of contest clip comment number 10, God damn, this was so long. Signal has been staring at Pajaro and Alpha, just staring at him the whole time. Now, I would show you the interview because I interviewed Pajaro on like what his side of the story and what he thinks of it, but that would make the video too long, and I kind of want to put it in the description. So if it's somehow in the description, go watch it and see what he thinks. Fair warning, that video was recorded in October, so that's why some of the stuff is a little bit outdated. Chris's job. So Chris has said before that outside of YouTube and Twitch, he has a real life job. Now, Chris has never said what his job is, but he said that he works with callers. So, my guess is that he works with 1. He works at an office job where his role is that he just calls people and just do stuff. 2. He works at a sex hotline. And, well, knowing Chris, he probably is working at a sex hotline. And for number 3, Chris works at a suicide hotline. And take a guess on which one is not true. Yeah. And if you're wondering why there's a picture of Drake and Josh, it's because I'm not showing or looking up an image of suicide hotline because that would make me look weird. Another thing is that when Chris was asked about to do an IRL work stream, he said that he calls people and they give him his social security number or something like that. So that also gives a hint on like what his job is. Chris is secretly, yeah, it's right there. You can see it for yourself. So, as you can see, Chris is not born with any like disabilities or anything, but some people have thinking that he kind of is, yeah, something else. Now, like I said before, Chris, I'm starting to think you're mentally and physically slow. You know, I took 1 semester in class in psychology, and I can safely say, Christopher Wilson, you are hereby diagnosed with special needs. Do not ask what you have. Here's the special needs. Actually, everyone in YHG are hereby diagnosed with special needs. Pajaro, you're this. Rumby, you have ADHD. Alpha, even though you are autistic, you're even more autistic, alright? Deal with it. And for everyone else, you are either bipolar, ADHD, you got autism, or you're in a wheelchair. You're just disabled. The truth about Chris. This is just the many times Chris got exposed or called out, exposing the real side of him. The most people exposing him are SpongeBob and Johnny the Rat, of course. Pajaro. I don't know what this is about. Pajaro said that you'll be meeting us in the bottom. Subscribe to Pajaro and follow his Twitch. Twitch.tv says 1Pajaro05. I don't know why that's his name. And yeah, go subscribe to Pajaro. He's a great guy. I don't know. And finally, the last entry of the YHG Iceberg 2.5 YHG R34. So, you know how there's a lot of horny chatters in the chat, but no one has ever made a YHG Rule 34. Well, some people has claimed that there are some Chris Wilson Rule 34, but no one really had the balls to look it up, and I'm me included, because I'm not looking that up. And that is it for the YHG Iceberg 2.5. If you enjoy it, hit the like, sub. Please like and sub, alright? I've been working on this video since August, alright? Just please like and sub. Also, big thanks to Rumby and Pajaro for doing a few layers on this iceberg. Without them, this video would not be possible. I know that's really cheesy, but I'm actually kind of being serious. And yeah, that's it for the iceberg video, and I'll see you next time.
suck all my niggas. Macaroni Grapefruit Extreme 3000, dude. I'm sucking the skin off that fucking dick, dude. Oh my gosh. You are, dude, bruh. You think these OnlyFans thotties got it going on? Just wait till you put $10 million in front of me, bro. You think I'm the most experienced porn star to ever suck a dick, dude. I'm telling you, 10 mil? 10 mil? Oh, stop playing with me.